Hello, may peace and blessings be with you. Thank you for being super patient as we started today's live training. We have had a few little tech hiccups that needed to get worked out before we could be online, but all is well. All is well. So, I just want to start with sharing something personal. Several people have been asking me, what is my schedule like? What is my daily routine like? And a lot of times my answer is you don't want to know. And as I said that yesterday to someone, I was like, why do we not want to talk about what we have going on in life and all of that, right? So I figured I'll at least share what time I go to bed and what time I wake up. I am by no means asking anyone to follow that schedule or routine because it's not very healthy. I am aware of that and I'm working on it. But at the same time, my current routine works for me because I get a few hours at the end of the day, in the middle of the night, to work on my passion projects. I'm sure you can relate. I'm sure that you have passion projects that you're interested in working on and you cannot find time during the day to do it. A lot of times I try to allocate some time first thing in the morning so that it energizes me for the rest of the day. But if I'm ever not able to do that, the nighttime is my time because no one else needs me. So these days, I'm going to bed around 2 a.m. Um, I know I feel like I should not be publicly sharing this, but it's okay. We're keeping things real, so it's okay for me to share. So between 2 and 3 is when I'm going to bed, and between 8 and 9 is when I'm waking up. Okay, so with that, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get started with today's topic. I am going to share my 5 tips that I think will help you get set up for success when you're using Flodesk, because Flodesk is such a powerful tool. And I really think that it can help you with your email marketing big time in your business. But you want to make sure you set it up in a way that also makes everything works beautifully and in sync in the background, right? So I am not your marketing expert. I'm not your graphics expert, but I am your tech expert. I want to make sure that things are functional in the background and they're set up correctly, and what are some of the mistakes or things that people get hung up on. They trip you up, they trip me up too. So that's why I wanted to dedicate some time today just to talk about that. So I made a little guide for myself on my phone, so if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my phone. Okay, so let's start with tip number 5. And I also have it available as a PDF for you to grab if you want to get it all concise in like a PDF format. So I will share that link with you real quick as we get started. Okay, so here's a link. You can go here to grab your my 5 tips. I've included a bonus tip in there for you, which I will not be sharing today, but it's in there for you. Okay, so it's go.simplifyonething.com/Flodesk tips. So that's the link. You can go there to grab your PDF of the things I'm going to cover today. Okay, tip number 5. Always, always, always start with a template in Flodesk. I'm going to share my screen to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm logged into my Flodesk account. I just went to flodesk.com, entered my username, my email, and password. Because we have lots of things built, this is what we see. If you go in for the first time, you're not going to see all of that. You might see, I feel like it's like a blank screen with maybe just the option to pick some templates to start with. So anything you're creating in Flodesk designers have done a great job of providing lots and lots of beautiful templates with a lot of the assets that are available in Flodesk. So start there, leverage that. For emails, when you click on new email, first thing they do is give you templates to start with. So just browse through here and grab the one that catches your attention. You have the ability to fully customize it after you do that, right? But start with the template. If you are, I'm going to go back out. If you're creating a new form, click on forms, go to new forms, and start with a template. They have beautiful templates here as well. all different kinds. Even if you want to segment your list based on some answers your ideal customer provides, you can do that. But start with one of their templates. I'm going to keep harping on this until we're good to go. Even for workflows, if you're creating a new workflow, they have given you some templates in here as well. This selection is a bit limited, but it's really nice. I really appreciated they had one when I first got started. They had this lead magnet delivery template for the workflow. It's super powerful. It lets you get started quickly and easily without having to build a lot yourself. Otherwise, some of the other platforms you work with, they're very confusing. So I really love Flodesk for that. And lastly, checkout. It's currently in beta, but it's functioning quite beautifully. You can create a new checkout using one of their templates again. If it's, you're just starting with a freebie, you can start with that, or you can browse through all of their templates. Can you tell that I love this product? I do. Okay, so that was tip number 5. Tip number 4 is, so this one took a little bit of trial and error to get used to. So I've included it here. You want to break down, if you have an email sequence, a workflow that's going to have multiple emails that are going to go out based on a time specific trigger. So for example, you're saying, I am offering a masterclass next weekend, and 3 days before the weekend, I want to send a reminder email with the login and all of that, right? And then 1 day before the event, and then an hour before and 15 minutes before. Those are actual times that we use for all of our programs and masterclasses and things like that we do. So if you're thinking of doing something like that, my advice is to break it down into 4 separate workflows, not try to combine it all into one. The reason for that is, if you have one workflow for all of that and you need to make a change for any reason to one of them, and if that time has already passed, that date or time has already passed, you're not able to publish the entire workflow again. So we learned this the hard way. We had scheduled one, and then we wanted to make a small tweak to one of the emails, the body of the email, something we said, maybe we called like a typo or something that we wanted to fix. And we couldn't republish that entire workflow just like that, because it said, 3 days before had already passed. So we couldn't republish it. So we had to break it down into separate ones. So ever since then, we basically just separate them into individual workflows. So we set up one that says 3 days before, then we set up another one that says 1 day before, another one for an hour before, and the last one 15 minutes before. That's just how we set them up. Okay, so that nicely segues into the next tip I have, tip number 3 for you, which is to break down. We already covered that, didn't we? Okay. Tip number 3 is to create folders and label and number your email workflows. So this will keep it very organized in your Flodesk account. So I'm under workflows. I am going to go to folders. And here we have different folders set up for different things. So for example, I think this is a good one to look at. This also will emphasize the point I just made. So we have in this folder 4 different workflows. If I click on it, you're going to see how I have labeled. This is 1A. This is the initial email that goes out that congratulates the person that they have entered or they've signed up for the program, for the masterclass. The next one is 1B. It goes 1 day before, 1C, 1 hour before, and then last one is 15 minutes before. So it looks like we didn't do 3 days before. Oh, because that was a last minute idea. That's why. So this is something that doesn't come very easily to us until we're on the other side and we have lots and lots of things built here, lots of workflows sitting here, and you're trying to figure out which one is which. So my tip for you is to create a folder, number them and label them exactly what they're doing, right? So this one's the congratulations 1 day before, 1 hour before, 15 minutes before. And I'm specifying which workflow they're for. And I've also added them to this Flodesk Masterclass folder to keep myself organized. Otherwise, it's like a hot mess over here. You see a whole bunch right here, which is how we first started. So we're learning. Okay, so that was tip number 3. I'm about to lose my voice, so I'm going to take a sip. If you have any questions while I'm covering this, or if you have any questions afterwards, please put them in the comments and I'll do my best to take care of that. Okay, tip number 2 is you always want to add yourself to one of your email segments, the one you're going to use to send out emails. This will help you a lot when you have, a gazillion things going on in your life and you don't want your workflow trigger not to work or the automation not to work, right? You're setting it up to make your life easier. So one of the ways I keep track of that, so I'm not logging into Flodesk after the fact. Once we set it up, we test it, we're good to go. So, but I always add myself as one of the subscribers to that list, to that segment. So when the email goes out, I just quickly go into my inbox to make sure I receive that email. So that's my control check on the front end, right? To make sure that we set up something and it worked properly. This was something we were not initially doing, and we would not find out that something didn't work unless we came into Flodesk and started to look at the analytics for that workflow, right? So there's no way on the front end you can tell if that email went out or not. So just adding yourself as one of the subscribers to the email list, I think will help you big time. Okay, last one is how to troubleshoot a workflow that didn't send out an email, right? So this is something that is tripping people up left and right. So let me just see if I can help you troubleshoot one of them to make it easier. So the normal flow is you start with a form, you have a landing page where people come to enter their email, enter their name, get added to your email list, right? So that's where people start. On the back end, you normally would have a workflow that's already set up that's going to send out an email when the email is entered to that list. So I'm going to go to this workflow. Let's just go to one real quick. We'll create one. So for example, it's this lead magnet delivery one, which is exactly the scenario we're talking about. So I'm going to click on view details here. Customize. Okay, so for this one, the trigger normally that we set up is a subscriber is added to the segment, right? So if this workflow is set up when subscribers start to get added, this will work beautifully. This will not stop unless you have some other time trigger, some other craziness going on. This will work, right? But what happens is that we publish the landing page sometimes and we don't set this up right away, right? Because we're still tweaking the email or something like that. We don't set it up right away. So somebody gets added to the email list, but the trigger is not set up to send them that email yet, right? So later when we go to create this workflow, we have set it up and everything, and we hit publish, and we're expecting that it's going to go out to all new people and all the people who are already on your email list. Nah, it does not go out to people who are already on your email list because the trigger says a subscriber is added. So it's only for newly added people. So if you go and add that person one more time, it still does not trigger because that person still is already in your email list. So Flodesk almost ignores, like if the same person signs up twice, Flodesk almost ignores the new entry. It just basically keeps the old entry. I don't know if it ignores the first one, the other one, but basically somehow it keeps track that that person is already on the email list. So that workflow will not trigger again. So what you need to do is, this is why I always say when you're creating your email that's going to go into your workflow, always create the email first, right? So always create the email first, and you can open that email. And after you have created it, you can send it to your list initially. So whoever is already on the list, get the email when you hit that button, when you say, send the email now or send it later, you schedule it, right? So that is going to make it, I would say, send it now. Don't schedule it, because then, if new people get added, you don't want that to get mixed up. So when you initially create the email, set it up to say, send it now to the existing people who are already on your email list. And then when you set up the workflow and publish it, it's going to then trigger it for every new person that gets added later on. So I hope this helps, because we just did a training on Saturday, and we had created the landing page and added someone, and then we set up the workflow afterwards, and we were sitting there thinking it's going to come through, but it didn't come through. And the reason for that is exactly this, what I'm saying, right? So if the trigger is set up after you have created, after someone's already been added to your email list, they basically missed that criteria, right? So you have to then manually send it to them somehow. So start with an email, send it to them initially, then set up your workflow, and it'll catch every single new person who gets added later on. Another crazy way of handling that is deleting everyone who was already there previously, deleting them from your email list, and then re-adding them. So that then it will work. Then, because Flodesk doesn't see that that email was already sent out to them, right? Because it didn't. So you can just simply delete them and add them back. That will also trigger that workflow for them. So those are the two ways of handling it. And I hope that this helps you in setting up your Flodesk account and getting the most out of it. I am going to share what do I want to do? I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to share this one more time. If you would like a PDF copy, please use this link. go.simplifyonething.com/Flodesk tips. You'll get a PDF with all my tips that I covered and one bonus tip that I did not go over. And if you are interested in getting a Flodesk subscription, here's my affiliate link for that, flodesk.com/c/easy50. This will help you save 50% on your first year of Flodesk subscription. So if you're interested in giving it a try, use this and save some money. I am going to be hosting, let's see, what are we hosting? We are hosting another masterclass. Have we decided the date on that yet? I don't think we have. So we'll skip that for now. We'll share that later on. If you're not on my email list, please get added to my email list so that you're the first one to know about new things that we're doing. We do a lot of like spur of the moment things too. So last week I didn't know I wanted to do a training last Saturday, but I did, right? But I think I figured that out on Tuesday. So I had very little time. So if you're not on my email list, get on my email list so that you do find out about things like that and you don't miss them. Okay. So I enjoyed covering today's session. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. If you have any questions, send them in the comments. I will answer those. Next time, I am wanting to talk about analytics within Flodesk. Let's see if we can get there. I will see if I can put together a few things with that for you next week, and we'll cover that. If you have any other Flodesk related questions or anything like that, anything that's tripping you up or anything, send me a message. Put in the comments or send me a message. I'm sure you're connected with me somewhere on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, somewhere, right? Or on my email list. So wherever you're watching me from, reach out to me. Let me know if there's anything you want me to cover in my Flodesk trainings, anything I can help you simplify as you're building your online business, or any questions at all. I hope you have a fantastic day. May peace and blessings be with you.